Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Access. In this module, I want to show you some of the places that you can do calculations. Now the first place is at table level. So if I open this table, I've got a salary field there, and let's say I want to do, say that's the salary before tax or after tax, and you want to work out what the tax would be. So let's say I want to know what 30% of that is. I could do a calculation in table design to work that out. So what you do is you go into design and let's call it deduct. I'll just call the field deduct. Now if you're an accountant, bear with us, this is probably not correct, but it's just the process that I want to go through. So I've selected calculated, and then I get the expression builder coming up. So the salary field's what I want to look at, and I'm just going to type times 0.3. So 30% of that. Click OK to that, and then you've got the formula down here. Now I need to change the format to currency, and then save the table, have a look, and then you get the 30% deduction on that salary. So that's basically a calculated field at table level. There are restrictions. You haven't got every single function available at this level, but that's a basic one, and you can do stuff like that. So VAT you could do at the table level, etc., etc. Now at query level, if I go and create myself a query, create query, design, just drop this table in, and then let's say I want to just add title and surname and salary. So let's have a look at that. So that's just looking at that. If I want to do the same sort of calculation at this level, I can basically type it in where I am now in here. I'm going to do Shift F2 to zoom that up so you can see what I'm doing. So let's call this take home pay, and I like to do the field like that. What you have to do in queries is do a colon, and then you can basically do the formula how you want it. So I'm not using the expression builder, I'm just going to do it manually. So I'm typing salary in square brackets, and I'm going to do times 0.7, which means I've taken 30% off. Let's click OK to that, and again I need to do the formatting to currency just to make it consistent. Save this little query, call it QRY take home pay. OK to that, run the query, and then you get that taken off. So that's their take home pay. So that's doing a calculation in the query. Now if I create a, yes I do want to save that. If I create a form, so I'll go create form, I'll just go form design, and I'll just get into properties. Oops, I was on properties. Get it to look at that table, staff training, then go into the fields. I'll just bring all these fields across, and let's say I want to do that take home field again in at this level. I know I've got it in the query, I could just base the form on a query, but that's not the point. You can do calculations in a form as well. What you've got at the top here of all these features, you need to select an AB button and then draw yourself a small rectangle big enough to put the formula in, and then that's going to be the title, take home pay. But if I just do it in here, so I'm going equals, again you type in salary in square brackets times 0.7. So it's referring to salary, and then that would be the title. If I just make this box a little bit bigger, if I can grab out of it. Yep. So that's going to be take home pay as a sentence and not as a field. And then if I save this form as FRM pay, I'll just call it for this example. Typo, but never mind. Have a look, and then you can see it's coming up with 21,000. it's taken that 9,000 off that 30,000. Now obviously it's not formatted to currency, so I forgot to do that. Back in there, click on it, properties, and then we want to get the format option. Let's go back to format. There we go. Currency. Save. Have a look. There we go. Then you tidy this up. So that's the form, and then a report. If I create a report, create report. So I'll go for a blank report, report design, and I'll base it on the same table. Get my fields, bring all the fields in. Missed. Drop them in there, and then same thing. AB salary equals square bracket salary square bracket times 0.7. Format it to currency. Save the report. RPT pay. Okay, have a look. And then you get that coming in there as well. So that's an example of a calculation at table, at query, at form, and at report level. You can also do calculations in macros, which will be a different video, but hopefully that has opened your eyes a little bit to where you can do calculations in Microsoft Access. Thank you for your time on this little video, and I'll see you on the next one.